Hello, all my miniature-loving friends on the interwebs. It's me, Doc Eon. It's a Monday, and I'm here to ramble about my miniature painting. It's, in fact, the 27th of June, 2022. And we have a batch of finished stuff here. Most of it from Reaper, not all. I gotta start out by saying I'm slightly disappointed in myself because I was aiming for 18 finished models this week and turned out to be 13. It's partially because the dragons took a lot of time, partially because I found myself binging season 2 of The Witcher, which I'd held off on until now. And then after that I found myself going back and rewatching a lot of season 1 because, well, for reasons. But anyway, that was kind of interesting because it led me to discover that show is actually better planned than I've given it credit for, because they are planting stuff pretty early in season 1 that pay off, or at least are referenced again pretty late in season 2. So hey, props for that. That's good writing, actually. But anyway, back to the miniatures. What have I done here? Well, we have started with the Reaper stuff. We have these adventurers. I think here's a cleric and a wizard. And I've worked again with high contrast on the cloaks to make them look interesting. They're not as nicely done as the ones on previous week's Bones figures, but yeah, can't win them all. Then we have a couple of barbarians, the dude and the girl, in furs, and yeah. And a small pile of treasure. Like there's an open chest here that seems to half sunk into the ground, and there's a skull and an urn and some stuff. Then we come to the black dragons that I painted. This is the hatchling, metal dragon. And this is the slightly larger swamp dragon, also metal. I think I have this exact same sculpt. I think it's part of the Bones 5 core set, except in bones and plastic. Or if it's one of the others. They have another dragon, Reaper does, which is very similar to this one, same pose, slightly different design. I'm not sure which one it is that, now that I think about it, that is included in the Bones 5. But anyway, and here's finally the really big one. I don't know if I can fit him in shot. Where let's see if we can get an angle of that. I've tried to add some water effects here and make a little pond, like a swampy bit of swamp in the middle, and ringing that in with some rocks and dirt, and some grass, and yeah, hopefully it works. It's not too over the top, not too dark, but not too shiny either. That's a fine balance you have to tread when you're painting black. And then we have the non-Reaper stuff. We have the let's see if I can get closer. There, refocused. This is not Scooby-Doo, officially, because of copyright issues. Called something else, but it's the Scooby Gang, brought from Hasselfree Miniatures. So here's obviously Scooby himself. Here we have Fred and Daphne. And they're very cartoony, like this orange hair color. That doesn't occur in nature, but that's the way she looks in the cartoons. So I've done that. The odd thing is that Fred is supposed to have a neckerchief, which is a different color, contrasting color to what I don't recall if it's green or purple. I think it's like a darker shade of green to complement his girlfriend here. But that's not sculpted on to this miniature, so I couldn't paint it, unfortunately. And here's Shaggy and Velma. And yeah. And my biggest cartoon effect here is painting the eyes onto her glasses, which is, I think it looks odd in a miniature, but it's that's the way it is in the cartoons. So I sort of had to include that. The shoes were not sculpted exactly as in the cartoon. There's a like the toe is there's a bigger hole, like it's the shoes cover the toes, and then there's a hole where you can see her socks through them, and then there's a rather thick strap over the ankle, and the strap, which is supposed to be red, and it's just the strap just isn't there in the sculpt, so it's a little off from the original, but I think it works well enough looking at it at a distance. And yeah, now I can show you these a bit up close as well. And there will, of course, be still pics at the end. A little shiny here with the varnish, mostly because I have strong lighting here. But yeah, that's a decent batch of finished stuff. And let's move on to works in progress. And for the purposes of this video, I've gathered everything here on the work table that I currently have paint on. As I've mentioned before, not everything sits on the table like this when I'm working on it. I've got like at most a half a dozen models at a time on in this space, and the others are off to the side. But just for demonstration, we have these Viking miniatures from Hassle-Free that I didn't. These are the 5 that I thought would be done also by today. They're not quite done. They're like maybe 25% done. And I think part of it is they didn't enthuse me as much as I thought they would. They surprised me a little bit in what the sculpture like, because Kev White, who does everything for Hassle-Free, or 99%, usually paints in sculpts in a more exaggerated cartoony style with big features, and these are more like photorealistic with a lot of tiny little detail that is very hard to bring out in miniature form when painting, and that always frustrates me a little bit and makes me want to paint less, unfortunately. Like, I don't want to criticize the guy for he wanted to maybe branch out and try a different style. That's fine. It's his artistic expression, you know. I just wish I'd realized it sooner, but oh well. I will finish them up by next week. Absolutely. I'm not gonna bail on them. And in the back we have a lot of Bones stuff from the Kickstarter, from Bones 5. Like I mentioned, some of these are from the Dungeon Dwellers set, and most of them from the core. Well, no, half of them maybe are from the core set. No, not even that. I'm thinking ahead of the ones I'm going to paint. I'm getting confused here. I think most of these are Dungeon Dwellers expansion. And as you can see, I've worked on some on the metallics and the hair. Next up is the skin for all of these, and then all the clothing and other details. And up front we have the trolls, and this is what had me confused, because only one of these trolls is from Dungeon Dwellers, the others are from the core set. And as you see, I have also done some metallic work here, and I have put a base coat on the skin, the yellowish green. Assembly of these was a little tricky. This guy, I don't understand why he is off to why he's so off center on the base. Looks like he's leaning back, but that's mostly the angle. And this is really odd. You know, if I'd felt like modeling some more, I would have repositioned him. I could have just cut down the tabs on the feet and filled in the holes in the base and pinned him to a more central position if I'd thought of doing that. But it just seemed like too much work, and screw it. I'll add some more, like a thicker foliage or something here, like some bushes or something, to try to balance the composition out, so to speak. But the others are fine. They're just trolls. Let's just, they'll be easy enough to finish. I do have one more thing to show you, which is not as far along. Let's cut to that. So I'm not 100% sure what to do about these guys. So these are the, this is the siege equipment from Bones 5. We have a ballista, a scorpion, we have a catapult, and we have a trebuchet. Now the trebuchet I assembled so that the counterweight isn't glued in, it can swing, and also this can swing. Unfortunately, the rope here is not flexible, so it looks really weird if I swing it. It's supposed to be lying like this. Any other position just looks really odd. But what you gonna do? The question is whether I should mount them on a base or not. The thing is, if I put them on a base, it'll be very hard, in this case, impossible to paint the undercarriage. It's kind of possible for the others because they're kind of very open, so you could conceivably get a brush in there. But for this one, no. Question is, does that matter? Because if I don't mount them on a base, I'm gonna have to hold them by one part while I paint the other part, and yeah, it'll be difficult for other reasons. I'm leaning towards no bases, actually. We'll see what I decide. Okay, let's pile on the plastic, shall we? I'm thinking for new projects, I want to finish up this box here, the Dungeon Dwellers expansion. I'm not quite going to finish it up. There's still inside this box this dragon here, which I don't feel like painting right now, and a couple of undead miniatures, which I'm saving for October. But apart from that, these four are from the Dungeon Dwellers expansion, and they are in fact minis I've painted before. At least I think so. I'm pretty sure I've painted these two, but I can't seem to find the models right now, which is annoying because if I'm going to paint them again, I want to not replicate the same color schemes. I'm going to look around some more to see if I can find them. These two I know I've painted before. I have them here. Here's the ogre. And here's the owlbear. So again, we're going to have to try to come up with some different color schemes for them. Paint them a little bit differently, but that shouldn't be an issue. Hopefully my imagination won't conk out on me. Otherwise, what else do I need to add? I can't just start 4 minis. So from the core set, I pulled this bag of character minis. It has some adventurers. And this guy who looks like an NPC. He's just a scribe. But anyway, I haven't decided yet which ones, but I'll grab a few of these. But we need some more monsters as well. So from the options, I found, it's upside down. Don't know if you can read it. It says fantasy. No, says Kaiju Chaos, which is interesting. It's a kind of, it's a monster that looks like Godzilla, which is why they call it a kaiju. But it's not that big. I mean, the dragon I just painted was bigger, the black dragon, and there's a lot of minis in this Kickstarter that are a lot bigger than this. So I mean, it's not a kaiju in that sense. It's like a baby Godzilla. But anyway, that one I want to do, and I also want to take a look at these to challenge myself. The Fantasy Dinos, which are a set of, I believe, 8 humanoid dinosaurs. So, not Dragonborn, they're bigger than Dragonborn, and they look more like actual dinosaur, have actual dinosaur heads. I think someone has a Triceratops head, someone has a T-Rex head, and so forth. But they have like armor and clothing on, and weapons. And this is a challenge to get them all looking a bit different when I paint the skin or scales or whatever. So that's another test of my imagination, coming up with a lot of different color schemes. So that's a theme here, challenging myself and doing things differently. So I don't know exactly how many minis I will prep for next week, like maybe 15, we'll see. And hopefully the stuff I prepped for this week will be finished. If I can keep up the energy and keep up the enthusiasm for painting. So we come to the close of another episode, and I hope you followed along this far. If you did, give me a thumbs up and look at the still pics at the end, and comment and subscribe if you haven't done so before. But above all, be back here next week, same day of the week, same channel, same Dakian, who is now signing off.